A bar worker was busy in the wine cellar, making sure everything was clean and organized before the bar opened its doors for the day. He had been tidying up for a while, ensuring that each shelf and corner was spotless in preparation for the evening rush. Just as he was about to finish his cleaning duties, an unexpected mess suddenly appeared out of nowhere, forcing him to clean it up as well. The cause of this mess was very strange and highly unusual, and it definitely seemed to be linked to something paranormal. Take a look for yourself. For some mysterious reason, the wine bottles on the shelf began to fall to the ground one by one, creating a huge mess that the employee now had to tidy. The situation was incredibly unfortunate, especially since the worker had just finished cleaning the floor, which meant he now had to start the whole task all over again. The poor guy couldn't believe his bad luck, but surprisingly, his boss showed a lot of sympathy. After seeing the chaos, the boss offered the worker $20 as compensation for his effort in cleaning up the mess, recognizing that the incident wasn't the worker's fault in any way. It was clear that the incident had taken him by surprise, and the boss made sure to show his appreciation. What do you think happened here? Could it really be some sort of paranormal activity at play? All the staff members were absolutely convinced that a ghost had somehow caused the disturbance. On November 30th, 2022, 2 security officers were assigned to monitor the basement of their local supermarket. This basement had been intentionally isolated from the rest of the public areas of the store to ensure that no one could access it. The area was strictly off-limits for customers and employees, unless they had permission to enter. This was a crucial aspect of the building's security system, as the basement housed a vast number of important legal documents and was also where the security cameras for the entire store were monitored. The officers were performing their usual routine check on this particular day, as they had done many times before. However, what they thought was going to be a quick and simple checkup quickly turned into something far more unsettling and mysterious.
Extraño en la oficina, estamos probando qué onda y la puerta del baño se cierra sola.
Fíjate si hay en el baño, fíjate.
Primero vamos a... No. No se ve nada. ¿Viene un mes?
Abrir. Fíjate.
Muchachos, no vengan a las 3 de la mañana a la oficina porque esto es paranormal. ¿Viste eso, José?
To their surprise, the door to the basement started to open and close on its own, but not completely. The door only moved slightly each time, just enough to create a loud, banging sound that echoed through the basement. The officers immediately investigated, checking behind the door to see if anyone was causing the disturbance, but when they looked, they found no one there. The area was completely empty except for an unused bathroom. Could the movement of the door have been caused by the wind? It seems unlikely, especially since the basement was a sealed space, far from any open windows or drafty areas. The officers were left perplexed, unsure of what could have caused the door to behave in such an unusual manner. This footage continues to spark widespread debate among viewers, with many offering their own theories about what might have happened that day. Sidra, a young woman who had only recently moved out of her parents' house, had a deep passion for singing. She had always loved music and dreamed of becoming a full-time musician, but for the time being, she was attending university while working toward that goal. Sidra was fully aware of the commitment and hard work it would take to achieve her dream, so she practiced every day. Singing her favorite songs and working on her vocal technique was an essential part of her routine, but she was very shy and self-conscious about her singing. She didn't want others to know about her passion, so she kept it to herself, only practicing when she was sure no one would hear. However, Sidra stopped singing altogether after she experienced something deeply unsettling in her apartment.
It's getting cold. Wasn't feeling it's getting old. Was I made to my tongue ¿Quién? ¿Quién anda ahí?
While many strange events had occurred in the days leading up to this, there was one specific incident that was particularly hard to notice. Can you guess what it was before I reveal it to you? At around 39 seconds into the clip, a dark, shadowy figure appeared above the door, peering right at Sidra. Shockingly, she didn't even notice it. She continued with her actions completely unaware of the presence watching her. Despite feeling uneasy, Sidra opened the door, a decision that seemed unwise in hindsight, and witnessed a red object float away in front of her. After watching this bizarre and eerie sequence unfold right before her very eyes, Sidra was completely at a loss for what to do. She briefly considered calling her parents and asking them for advice, but she hesitated. Sidra was afraid they would dismiss her concerns and attribute everything to her being nervous about living alone. After spending around an hour debating what to do, Sidra made a decision. She would try to pretend as though nothing had happened. For the next few days, she went about her routine, and nothing strange occurred. Sidra felt a sense of relief and began to convince herself that perhaps it was all just a figment of her imagination. But then, 3 nights after the unsettling experience, the spirit returned.
Mami, te grabo este video porque están tocando constantemente la puerta. Están pasando cosas que no son normales. ¿Quién? ¿Quién? No hay nadie. ¿Viste eso?
This time, the presence seemed to manifest inside her apartment, and Sidra's bedsheets began to move on their own, which terrified her. The feeling of fear was overwhelming. However, once again, Sidra was too scared to reach out to her parents, as she feared their judgment. She chose to ignore the situation once again, but she also made a promise to herself. If something else happened, she would speak to her father about it. Like before, Sidra had 2 peaceful days where nothing strange occurred. But this time, she didn't allow herself to feel completely at ease. She was constantly on edge, startled by every little sound, and sure enough, on the 3rd day, everything changed once again. The dark silhouette in the doorway looked more like a hand than a head this time, and the glass moving on its own seemed like the final straw for Sidra. Her heart raced, and she immediately stopped the recording and called her father. She spoke to him for about 5 minutes, explaining that objects were moving around her and that the spirit was clearly upset with her for ignoring it. Her father, though skeptical at first, agreed that Sidra could stay at his house for the night. It wasn't until he saw the videos with his own eyes that he truly believed her. Seeing the footage convinced him that something was indeed happening, and he allowed Sidra to move back in with him for a full year for her own safety and peace of mind. The following video comes from a lead security officer working at a factory near the train station. He was reviewing footage from one of the facility's security cameras, which was positioned at the far edge of the property, right near the railway tracks. This particular camera was checked regularly because the area was considered the weakest point of the factory, making it the most likely location for a break-in or other security threat. However, what the officer witnessed on the monitor was the last thing he expected. Take a look.
Ahí está. Se va acercando al cerco. Ahí está. Activó los sensores. Y ahora atravesó el muro. Ahí va caminando allá. Salió al perímetro, calla.
Como que cambia de forma de
Sí, cambia de forma.
Vuelve a entrar.
Y ahora desapareció. Ahí anda todavía.
If you watch closely, you'll see what appears to be a skinwalker walking along the train tracks. The yellow box around the figure on the camera highlighted its strange, unnatural appearance, leaving the security guards completely confused. Initially, they thought it might just be mist or fog that the camera had picked up, but the sky was clear that night, so that explanation didn't seem likely. The officers were left uncertain about what exactly they were seeing. Perhaps we'll never know the full truth behind this strange occurrence, but it certainly raised many questions. In the next video, we see a young girl who was feeling confident and decided to take some cute mirror selfies for her social media account. You've probably seen similar posts before, girls holding up peace signs or making kissy faces, capturing the perfect angle for their online followers. It's a very common trend on social media. However, what wasn't so common was the fact that, while this girl was taking pictures, something deeply unsettling was happening next door in the house beside hers. In the following video, you'll see exactly what took place, and the girl's screams were so loud that they attracted a large crowd outside her building.
Bob, estás en el baño cuando de repente en la casa del lado empiezan a hacer un exorcismo.
camándula, ¿qué tiene una camándula? Mira camándula. Allá.
As you can hear in the video, a huge commotion was taking place outside, and the girl couldn't resist the urge to step outside and investigate what was happening. Camera in hand, she filmed the crowd and the police who had arrived to look into the situation. After being told what was going on, the police forced their way into the house. Inside, they found a young woman with her eyes rolled back, shaking uncontrollably as though resisting something painful. She was screaming loudly and was clearly in distress. The most common theory was that she had been possessed, but fortunately, she eventually broke free from whatever dark force had taken control of her. In the next video, we see a young girl who was feeling confident and decided to take some cute mirror selfies for her social media account. You've probably seen similar posts before, girls holding up peace signs or making kissy faces, capturing the perfect angle for their online followers. It's a very common trend on social media. However, what wasn't so common was the fact that, while this girl was taking pictures, something deeply unsettling was happening next door in the house beside hers. In the following video, you'll see exactly what took place, and the girl's screams were so loud that they attracted a large crowd outside her building.
What the hell, guys? I don't know if you can see this. This is really weird. Domino, what is that? What the hell is that? Hey!
As you can hear in the video, a huge commotion was taking place outside, and the girl couldn't resist the urge to step outside and investigate what was happening. Camera in hand, she filmed the crowd and the police who had arrived to look into the situation. After being told what was going on, the police forced their way into the house. Inside, they found a young woman with her eyes rolled back, shaking uncontrollably, as though resisting something painful. She was screaming loudly and was clearly in distress. The most common theory was that she had been possessed, but fortunately, she eventually broke free from whatever dark force had taken control of her. This couple was enjoying a holiday together, staying at a cozy Airbnb nestled in the heart of a forest. They were looking forward to their relaxing getaway, but things quickly took a terrifying turn. The husband, David, left the Airbnb to refuel their car in preparation for a drive to a diner the next day. Unfortunately, his timing couldn't have been worse. Take a look.
Okay. It just happened again and the dogs are freaked out. Get it. David, come over here. Get it. You be right there. Something opens the fucking door, you need to get him. Oh my god, I don't know if it's gonna happen again. It just fucking happened again. Move, 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 move! There's fucking nobody there! The dog stopped fucking barking now. Davey's freaking the fuck out by the door though. What is it? There's nobody out there. I'm not opening the fucking door anymore.
At the beginning of the video, we can hear the wife panicking. She's clearly shaken, though it's not immediately clear what caused her distress. She's on the phone with her husband, pleading for him to come back as soon as possible. Meanwhile, their two dogs are growling aggressively at the doors and windows, as if someone, or something, is nearby. However, the woman is alone in the house. Suddenly, there's a loud knock at the door, prompting her to grab her phone and record the balcony outside. To her dismay, no one is there. Later that night, David returns, and just as mysterious, the knocking stops. Dismissing his wife's experience as the result of too much wine, David initially laughs it off. However, after watching the recording, he becomes unnerved. Without wasting another moment, they pack their bags and drive somewhere else to stay. This next unsettling story revolves around a man who recently moved into a single-story bungalow with his fiancée and baby. The house is in a lovely location, but the family has felt uneasy ever since moving in. The reason? The home was built on the site of a former morgue where deceased soldiers were buried after battle. Despite this grim history, nothing strange had happened until now. It was a sunny afternoon at around 2 p.m, a time most wouldn't associate with fear, but what occurred was undeniably chilling. Take a look.
Here. Wow. Happens all the time.
In the video, knocking can be heard coming from the closed front door, but when the man opens it, no one is there. This might seem coincidental, but the man claims this knocking happens repeatedly. Every time the door is closed, the knocking resumes, as if on a loop. What makes this even more terrifying is that the man insists this happens all the time, day or night. The young couple is convinced their house is haunted and desperately wants to leave. Unfortunately, financial constraints make moving impossible. As a result, they've started recording their experiences as evidence and even launched a GoFundMe campaign to raise money to move out. Despite their efforts, they didn't raise enough, and they remain in the house, still haunted by the relentless knocking. Our next story takes place in a shopping mall in the United States, equipped with extensive CCTV surveillance. The footage is typically monitored only during the day and reviewed at night on rare occasions. On this particular night, however, a bored security guard decided to browse the night's recordings for anything interesting. Little did he know, he was about to stumble upon something unforgettable. As he reviewed the footage, he reached a clip from 3:12 a.m. when sudden movement caught his eye. But there wasn't a burglar. There wasn't anyone at all. Take a look. In the footage, a motorized dog toy begins moving by itself, spinning in circles as if someone were riding it. The toy whirls around the area multiple times before coming to a halt. After that, no further movement is detected on the cameras for the rest of the night. Initially, the security guard assumed the toy had malfunctioned, possibly due to a battery issue. However, upon further inspection, he discovered the toy was out of order and couldn't function at all. Unless it somehow repaired itself, the only explanation is that a spirit was having some late-night fun.